I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought.
I can tell you that 7 years after Freddie Gray, that was 2015, spring, April, May. This is 2022. Communities like Sandtown, all we saw then and now in terms of investment was a renovated Western District Police Station and a new funeral home. That's what West Baltimore got. A new police station and a new funeral home. What kind of optics are they? Was Freddie Gray any different than 1968 Baltimore riots? Dr. King's passing, killing, murder? This is the same?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I think, well, first of all, people who are being violent and burning, that's, all that's the same. But the point is what was the cause and what were they attempting to register?
I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
I love you.
They deserve it now. It's
got next. And I'll be up.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
First name's Donnie, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. All right, all right, all right. This is my first day reporting when we have a black governor in the state of Maryland, and we are so excited. Yes, we are. Can you believe it? Of all places in the state of Maryland, there's been white males at the top of the ticket my entire lifetime, as well as that of my parents and my grandparents, going back 200, I did the math, what was it? Where's the math? At over 200 years, 234 years of the state of Maryland. Founded in 1788 by George Calvert. And as a result of Mr. George Calvert, he wanted a place where it would be tolerant of other people's faiths and religions, because the other states weren't like that. I mean, the Puritans, and they weren't tolerant of Catholics. George Calvert was a Catholic convert. And back in those days, remember, this is 1788, so they're still dealing with witches and inquisitions and very accusatory times, depending on what your faith was. If your faith was against what others were, that people want to burn you at the stake, and God forbid you know something about herbs and spices and various plants that are out there in the world, and you start doing concoctions, and then somebody says, a witch, a witch. Well, that's what it was like back then, I imagine. But it's not like that today. But the state of Maryland actually is finally living up to what George Calvert wanted. And so I do encourage you to check out bemorenews.com. We've written some articles, many thanks to our contributors to this network for providing various opinions, voices. Many thanks to people like Martin Mitchell. He was very active in this last election. We call him the cannabis councilman. By the way, recreational marijuana was passed here in the state of Maryland. So they quite likely not to be locking up people over a bag of weed. After all of these people have gotten time, I think that's the next step. How do we reverse some of the excessive sentences that have been put on people, particularly Black people? Black people make up, according to the U.S. Census, 13% or so of the U.S. population, yet we make up over 50% of the prisons, and something is fundamentally wrong with that equation. So big ups again to Governor Wes Moore. We have a Black governor, Wes Moore. Dawn Flythe Moore. Dawn Flythe, early in her career, was an advisor to Kathleen Kennedy Townsend. KKT ran for governor back in 2002. And KKT lost because she didn't listen to people like Dawn. You know, racism is a very interesting thing, and I'm not at all calling Kathleen Kennedy. I don't think I've even met the woman. But I do know people who did, people who worked for her. And I remember around 2002, the Democratic Party in Maryland was treating Black people like we were a side piece. Michael Steele comes onto the scene, Republican Robert Ehrlich. One of my mentors said that Robert Ehrlich was a spear thrower for Newt Gingrich. And while that may be true, I told my mentor I was supporting this Black man, Michael Steele. Why hadn't the Democrats done that? Why hadn't the Democrats lifted Black people who make up 30% of the state who can swing any election? Why haven't we elevated an African American to the top post? Why is it always white male? Why is there this presumption that in order to lead, you must be a white male? And so last night, all of that was shattered here in the state of Maryland. You got a Black governor, you have a woman comptroller, you have a Black attorney general. Historic. And we are so grateful. We're so pleased to be able to see this. And I don't know if you've been watching the tea leaves, but this Wes Moore candidate seems very presidential to get Joe Biden, the president of the United States, to come to Maryland on his behalf. Was beyond impressive. To get former President Barack Obama to do an endorsement was beautiful, because it gave some of us some validity. It felt like supporting Barack Obama was worth it in the end. A lot of times politics is the long game, as we see gentrification or signs of gentrification coming to Baltimore. Things are changing all the time. Is it gentrification or is it abandonment? So many changes are coming, but now we can say that one change that has happened is a positive change, and that's the change at the top of the ticket. Mike Miller had his foot on Black people's neck for years, treated Black people like side pieces, like slaves. Yes, he did. And when he died, I was not sad. With all due respect, you can't put your foot on my people's neck and expect me to mourn for you. It's not happening. We can't wait to replace you with someone decent. We find Bill Ferguson to be decent, respectful, kind. Some people want to hold on to old ways. Slavery's long gone. So we are proud, we're grateful, and we thank the good Lord for allowing us to see this day. Brooke Lehman shattered the ceiling. Finally, we have a woman in the statewide office of comptroller. And we have a black man as attorney general. He ran for governor back in 2014, came back, regrouped, had a more inclusive message. Congratulations, Attorney General-elect Anthony Brown. So there's some positive changes happening here in the state of Maryland, and we are so excited. Many thank you to the sponsors who keep this network flowing, including STEM City USA. A lot of people say they're not into politics. Everything we do is political. Every single thing we do is political. We're all into politics, whether we want to be or not. Trayvon Martin getting shot, that was political. George Floyd, that was political. We may not want to be political, but politics is all around us. It governs everything we do. Politics determines who gets what, when, and where. That's what politics determines. Who gets what, when, and where. And the what is those scarce resources. Who determines who gets the scarce resources, when they get it, and where they get it. Right now here in West Baltimore, we are suffering because the Upton subway station is closed, and nobody knew. Nobody was warned. Nobody got the memo. Nobody got an email. And so thousands of people who count on that subway are disaffected, including working people with no information in sight. It's worse, as bad, if not worse, than the water crisis. At least the water crisis was all on the air. So you put a transportation desert on top of a food desert, and you have a very hungry West Baltimore. So it costs more to do the basic things, or it takes longer. Now people have to walk from Penn North if they come to Sandtown, or they got to get off at State Center and then walk up. It's a unfortunate inconvenience. It's about some type of leak. If you caught the subway anytime in the past 10 years, you know it's been leaking. Could have did it in the summer when the weather was a little more palatable. So that's the need for politics. It determines who gets what, when, and where, and it deals with the what being scarce resources, how those scarce resources are allocated. And so it would behoove us, when you see these candidates on the campaign trail, that you get their phone number, their cell number. People call, Donnie, who's this? Who do I call for this? Okay, well, you haven't been paying attention to these broadcasts, so we're going to fix that right now. If you need your state elected officials, your state senator, your state delegates, then call 410-841-3000. Or you can go to the state's website. If you need to get in touch with anyone from the city, I want you to call 410-396-3100. Anybody in the city, that's the number, 396-3100, 396-3100. Anybody in the state, 410-841-3000, 410-841-3000. We must get involved, and we not just during the campaign. The real work, like with the mayor, the real work starts after they are elected. I was not a supporter of Mayor Brandon Scott, But at this juncture, he is the mayor. The election's over. He's halfway through. Now, you're going to sit on the sidelines and say, I didn't vote for him, or you're going to get in there and get involved. Man can't do it by himself. Takes everybody. Got a new state's attorney coming in, and he seems like he's going to be a lot more assertive on some of the issues that are out here, particularly paying attention to Fox. You see, Fox got their term limit invoked, and black people don't even realize that we just cut our own damn throats. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy listening to misinformation, because you are about to see the benefits of following a moron over a cliff. But that's what black people in Baltimore have done. So you win a black governor on one hand, then you get some dumb legislation on the other hand. And the people, only black people pushing it are black people who never won office. Mark my word. You let Fox come into our community and use red, black, and green to tell us who to vote for. It's despicable. And we should be ashamed of ourselves, calling ourselves educated. No, we're not. Some of us are dumb as a bag of rocks. One of my mentors, was telling me about black men down in Georgia, black men who are Trump supporters. Same type of idiots. We have Herschel Walkers walk. We have a lot of Herschel Walkers walking around. They may not be Republican. Dumber than a bag of rocks. Don't even know what you're voting for. You just said, go ahead and bust me in the head. And that's what they plan to do. Black people, you had power in Baltimore. You had black political prowess. And you've effectively given it up. You don't know what you had, but you're about to lose it. And when you lose it, then you be like, oh, that's what they were doing. That's what Larry Gibson and Donnie Glover was talking about. Larry Gibson and I, we differ about a lot of things. He's a hardcore Democrat. I will vote for who is supportive of my interests. I don't care what your party is. But be that as it may, we both agreed about question K. It will cut our own throats, especially when Fox is pushing it forward. But that's what we wanted, and that's what we have. Some of these activists need to go and retire. Who have they mentored? Who have they passed the ball to? If you're 70 years old and you ain't pass the ball to nobody by now, you're not going to pass the ball at all, apparently. So listen, we got a 4 p.m. broadcast, Monday through Thursday, where we get to give you some more updates, more news, more information. In my mind, it's called the Unnews. That's my nickname for the 4 o'clock broadcast, the Unnews, because we're going to dispel some of the lies and foolishness that is being put out here by these very same people that tricked us into voting for term limits. After all we did to build up our black political capital, we let Fox come in and knock it right on out the box. Y'all keep on watching Mackenzie Frost. She's going to talk you right into the Kool-Aid. You're like, why am I dying? Because you went over there listening to the devil. They are not your friends. We think they are friends. Silly rabbit, they are not your friends. But big ups again to the new governor, Westmore. I really enjoyed his speech last night. He is a wonderful extemporaneous speaker, covered all of the bases. I really enjoyed hearing him talk about the 3 different individuals he met on the campaign trail, including a man named Shannon, worked multiple jobs just to keep food on the table. And Westmore said last night, the governor-elect Westmore, that he will not forget Shannon and a couple of other people that he met on the trail. I thought that was beautiful. Francho, no, he wasn't ready for no Westmore. Perez wasn't ready. They didn't do enough push-ups. This man has done his push-ups. You could see, literally and figuratively, did the spiritual push-ups too. Stay balanced. Especially in the state of Maryland, especially in America, where racism is still ever present. But I'm so glad to know I can honestly say I love Maryland. I don't know that I've ever said that in my life. I love Maryland. If we only got 1/3 of the people who had the audacity to vote for a Cox, people will vote against their own interests just not to have a black man in there. That is so damn stupid. What we go for, what we don't go for. Hey, do what you want. But don't be calling me up at the last minute. Oh, I need such and such, because I'm going to ask, did you help? Where were you when we needed you? Oh, you were on the sideline saying, oh, don't vote for them. Or you over there pushing some candidate that you don't even know. And then when the real champion gets in there, oh, you want to use my access. Let me know how that works out for you. Get involved. Don't wait till the election to get involved. Get involved now. Knock on the door. Hey, I want to be a part. I want to help. What can I do? When do I start? These are questions we need to learn to ask. Our young people, I get it all the time. People on LinkedIn. Hey, I got a book. I got a project. I got a movie. I want to come on your show. Never say, hi, how you doing? Hey, listen, I saw your work. I was wondering, is there anything I can do to help you? Spread the word about what you do. I like what you do. Or is it just straight up, hey, I need you to do something for me? I don't know you. No relationship whatsoever. That's that privileged, attitude. Somebody owe you something. No, they don't. You owe yourself. You got to go out there and get it. You got to go out there and do the work. Well, that's all for today. I'm going to take a pause. We got a 4 o'clock broadcast. Our guest, I think we had some failure in communication. He was coming on from Chicago, and I realized there's a time difference. So we may have had a miscommunication, and I do apologize, but we will be back at 4 p.m. And if he calls me, we may be back this morning. Meanwhile, get ready for Troy Rollins at 12 noon on blackusa.news. My name's Donnie Glover. Do have a wonderful day. And if you voted, thank you. On behalf of the ancestors and all of those people like Fannie Lou Hamer, Pern J. Mitchell, Shirley Chisholm, we say thank you. Thank you for voting. My name is Donnie Glover. Have a beautiful day.